Hi guys, this is my third and final video with respect to Argentina. I'll be Celeste, and my love for the sport, my love for Argentine football, my love for Messi, that undying love for Messi, that will all continue. But something changed, and we left off in the second video uh, when Messi misses his penalty against um, Chile in the 2016 Copa America final, and he announces his retirement. And I just did mention that it was one of the saddest days of my life. And I remember going to office, and then I just went unshaven. I don't think I even took a bath that day because I was just not feeling. Um, it was deep down a very, very painful day because I could always wait for Argentina to win a tournament later on, but to win it with Messi at the helm was the greatest dream. And I always considered it to be a blessing that I was in this generation seeing Messi play. But why was this not being given to me? Why was this being taken away? I mean, that would be selfish to assume that something was being taken away from me rather than from Messi. But that was the feeling. I mean, I could feel his pain. I could feel his pleasures. I mean, if he enjoyed a game, if he laughed it out, I would love it. If he felt the pain of a bad tournament, of a bad year, I would feel it as well. Sometimes there would be years when Argentina wouldn't do great, but there was always his days with Barcelona. That would give me the pleasure. I remember this one year when Tata Martino, the coach, the Argentine guy who's also coached Argentina, came to Barcelona, coached them for a year, and it was the one year when they did not win a single tournament. I forget the exact year, but um, that was a painful year for me. So the whole idea of supporting Barcelona later on was because of Messi. So this retirement announcement was a big deal, and I did not know from the way I could see his face in the interview immediately after the game announcing that retirement. I sensed that probably he's never coming back. And later on, I think there was an interview where he blamed a lot of the Argentine local authorities, this management of the Football Association, the AFA, for the way they were conducting themselves, for the way they were being treating the Argentine players. Lack of facilities, lack of proper management. So, if the country really did want him, I was maybe having a little bit of hope that few things would be set right and he would be called back. But anyway, all that changed. He came back, and there was an uproar in the country. People did want him back, and people started really feeling bad that their biggest hero was giving up uh, the dream of playing football for the nation. We move forward to 2018, and early 2018, I booked my tickets. I applied for tickets on FIFA. Uh, this is the first time applying for me and my wife. She's not a football fan, but hey, it's okay. Watching a World Cup match together, away in a very, very, um, supposedly beautiful country, large country we have never been to. That should be interesting. But Ranjini, as she is, she doesn't like just making visits to a country to watch a football match and come out without visiting the country. I mean, that used to be me, and that's what I did in South Africa. She wouldn't have allowed that. So we decided to go all out and book a 20-day long trip in Russia. We wanted to visit a lot of places there, having been there for the World Cup. Everything was set, and the World Cup qualifiers were going on, and Messi was still doing well. But Argentina, they were dropping points. and they dropped to third, fourth, and then they were in a very, very, you know, dangerous position, I would say, with the last match that they played against Ecuador. They were lying at the fifth position or the fourth position, I'm not sure. But they had to win this. If they won this game, that would send them to the World Cup. If they did not, then things would be very difficult. Probably they'll have to play a one off match with Australia or some other country in the Oceania region and qualify the fifth team for the World Cup. But that wouldn't have been great. That would have given me a lot of tension. Plus, I had already booked my tickets for Argentina and I had received the World Cup tickets as well. Imagine going to the World Cup expecting seeing Messi and Argentina not even qualifying. And it had been a pretty long time since Argentina failed to win the failed to qualify for the World Cup. So the match begins and the tension is building up, and within a few minutes, Ecuador scores a goal. And this was supposed to be a game that Argentina had to win, and now they're down one goal. Will they be able to even get a draw? Can they win? Not sure. Again, dependency on Argentina, and Messi increases massively. And there comes Messi. Now, people say a lot of times that he doesn't deliver in the big matches. He doesn't really convince you enough that he is the world's best. I don't know what sport they are watching, people who talk like that. I don't know what games they've been watching. But for a guy who's seen close to 500 games of his, I can tell you he never disappoints. If you're a fan, if you want his team to win, he delivers when it's required. And there he comes and scores the very first goal, you know, from a tight situation. And he picks up the ball and runs towards the center, saying that, hey, we've drawn the game now, it's 1-1. It was just the first half, and we can go and win this. And some more time passes, and before halftime, I think they get the second goal. And again, Messi scores. And now they are in the lead, and all they have to do is maintain this lead of 2-1, and they'll be through. The domination continues, and Messi finally gets another brilliant goal, flicking the ball over the head of the goalkeeper from a decent distance. And they're 3-1 and they've qualified. And I was on top of the world already. It's not like they won the World Cup, but they'll be at least going to the World Cup in Russia and I'll be watching it. So we planned our trip. We went to Russia, and my God, landing in Moscow. And everywhere you see, there are these posters of Messi, the Lay's commercials, and I was enjoying every bit. I still did not know whether Messi would win this World Cup, but that's the hope. I mean, that is what you hope, right? When you support some team with a lot of loyalty, um, unswerving loyalty, you don't really care about the odds. You don't really care about mathematical probabilities, scientific reasons about weather and injuries to players and who's in their best form. You just support them blindly. It's like love. You just support and you just give everything for it. You don't look at logic. So once again, I was not sure if they had the best team on paper. There were obviously some issues, but I wanted to support the team and I wanted to make sure they won the games. So here we were in this place called Irkutsk, which is close to the Siberian side of Russia. We're staying in an ibis, I think. And the very first match, Argentina plays Iceland, and I don't get the match telecast in my room, but I see it on big television in the reception, and we have to leave. We have a train to catch, a pretty long one. I think this was the Trans Siberian Railway, and we have to head to Kazan. But I see the first half. And Aguero scores the first goal, and we're leading. Yeah, wow. It's just Iceland, but still, it's not bad. And then Messi misses a penalty. He was drowning in pain and sadness. Thankfully, there was Ranjani always who said that, "Hey, don't worry. I mean, even if they lose this or draw this." I mean, she's practical, but she's very, very, very positive about things. So, and like we expected, Iceland scored as well, and it was 1-1. And Messi was not in good form. And they lost the match. I'm sorry, they drew the match. A draw against Iceland at the beginning of a World Cup tournament. How are they going to get out of this? A few days went by, a couple of days, I think. We were in Kazan, and I was just following up the rest of the World Cup. There were upsets happening everywhere. Germany losing here, things like that. Russia was doing well, France was doing well. So the next game again was on the day when I had to take a train from Kazan to another town, small town. And this time they were playing Croatia. Croatia was a strong side. And I didn't have access to the internet because we were moving in a train and we were in an outside country, and I only had access to Wi-Fi when we were staying in hotels. So I just sleep hoping and dreaming and creating these fantasies that Argentina would win and Messi would score. And Argentina was playing Croatia, who had strong players like Rakitic, who was a Barcelona teammate for Messi, and of course Modric, and there was Perisic and so on. And Croatia wasn't bad at all. They were playing pretty well, and they had won their first game. And I get up in the morning, and I think I take the hotspot from my wife, and I check out, and then it was a humiliating 3-0 defeat. A 3-0 defeat to Croatia. I couldn't bear the pain. And I was like, why is this happening? Why is Argentina losing so bad? I mean, have I made the mistake of coming to Russia? I'm trying to, balance this out, the sadness of all this. At the same time, I'm with Ranjani, and we are on this great trip to this huge nation called Russia. The trip is going great. Everything is fantastic. We're seeing some awesome towns and cities. This is probably one of the best countries we visited. But how am I supposed to hide all this sadness? And in this last town that we're visiting, um, there was all probabilities happening, and the other two teams weren't playing so well. Nigeria was Iceland also, I think, ended up in a draw or something, and that gives a boost to Argentina, and Argentina faces Nigeria in the final match. And that's when we are heading to St. Petersburg. That's where I was watching the match live. St. Petersburg, what a stadium. And all Argentina had to do was to win this game, and they would be through to the second round, the qualifying, the knockout stages. So uh, we go there and we end up in the stadium, and Ranjani is watching a football game of this magnitude for the very first time, and she's enjoying. And we've got just behind the one of the nets, one of the goal posts, but then pretty high in the third tier, so we get a sense of the entire stadium, and it's full, and it's, I think, 90% filled with Argentine fans. Sea of blue and white, and we are enjoying the game, watching every moment. But it's still tense. It's 0-0, and we don't know what's going to happen. And apparently, Diego Maradona is in the stadium as well. And that's what we hear from some people who are listening to the commentary. And then this moment, I just witnessed a long pass coming from somewhere in the center, and I can see the ball in the air, and Messi running to collect it, and he approaches, and he's running pretty fast and pretty far because the ball is a good one, and it's almost into the D of uh, where the Argentines have to score. And then it all, I don't remember anything, and then I just see the ball being collected, Messi brilliantly, and he runs and he scores the goal like a true champion, like not many in the world would be able to do, collecting the ball of his left thigh, the first touch, then controlling it with his right leg, and then scoring it with his right leg. It was just amazing. It was not even his strong foot. And he runs and then he celebrates. And I don't see anything else. I'm shouting. I'm shouting. I'm literally crying with all these people around me celebrating. And Ranjini is enjoying it. And we're taking videos of me shouting. It was a fantastic moment. I tell to my guy, the guy next to me, is an Argentine. And I tell him, this is why Messi is the greatest. And we've been having this conversation through the match as to what's the difference between Messi and Maradona. I'll tell you what we discussed. And it was 1-1 because once again, they had a very porous defense, Argentina, and Nigeria scores. Tensions build all over again. Thankfully, through a penalty, I think, later on, which was not taken by Messi. It was a penalty, but then it somehow got converted into another kind of a goal, field goal. Then Argentina wins 2-1. And just all hell breaks loose. We're celebrating, we're jumping up in joy, we're coming down the stadium. In Argentina have qualified, and then all fans are shouting. uh, I'm just enjoying it. I don't really care about what happens in the tournament for now. I'm at least happy that they won this game. I watched and witnessed a game which Argentina won, but this time I did watch it back in 2010 against South Korea in Johannesburg. But this time Messi scored. That was my first live Messi goal that I watched, and I felt like it was a blessing that I was blessed. I was blessed to be there, and I was so happy that that happened. And Ranjani was pretty happy too. And we were just going back to the hotel, and we just slept it off. And then, okay, let's worry about the next match later. The second round match was against France, and it was on the day that I was leaving Russia and coming back to India. And I was watching it in the airport just before we were catching the flight, and it was one humdinger of a match again. uh, Argentina missing out in them, France scoring the first goal, and Argentina coming back, making it 1-1, and then they scoring it 2-1, 3-1, and I think it became 3-2, and then 4-2. My God. And I was tracking it, and in the last moments, I think they scored another goal. It became 4-3. But for whoever watched the match completely, they all told me that Argentina was being dominated thanks to Bappe, who scored two brilliant goals, thanks to his pace of this 19-year-old. And it was done and dusted. Uh, I had very bad memory of this World Cup. Not even watching most of the games. The only good thing that was that I watched live game in St. Petersburg. So there it was. And in the flight, I tell myself, it's okay. I don't have to cry next time. Maybe Argentina will win it. Maybe Messi will be fit enough to play because Messi was already 31. Very few players survive the 30s. 30s is a cruel age for a footballer, especially for a guy who's played so many games and who's been wearing out. I was hoping to see him play again in the next World Cup, and I knew it was in Qatar. So we go and get ready to sit in the seats in the flight back to Delhi. I'm sorry, Bombay. And there is this young kid who's crying, an Indian kid, and he's with his mother, and he's crying, and I can see why he's crying. He says, "Oh no, Argentina's losing and Messi's losing," and so I could feel. I mean, I wish I was this young kid so that I could openly cry without worrying about the rest of the world. But I couldn't. I'm an adult and I had to control my sadness. And then the mother tells this kid, "Hey, don't cry. It's okay. Argentina is losing, but obviously France is the better side. They're playing better, so it's okay." Uh, so I don't know what happened to me and what went into me, and I just called out the mom and I said, "Hey, please don't say that to the kid. Okay, don't give logic. Don't explain why Argentina is losing. Don't give reasons like they'll win next time, or Argentina is not the better side, so the better side is winning. Don't do any of that. Just allow the kid to cry. Let him feel the pain. You cannot say anything that will make him feel better. You cannot understand his pain. So I mean, that was just me putting myself in that kid's shoes, and I had to tell it like that. And Ranjini was wondering, why am I talking to this lady and telling all these reasons? But anyway, I felt happy telling that. And that's it. 2018 went away. And 2019, 19, many changes happened in the Argentine uh, football side. The coach changed, and it was Lionel Scaloni, the new coach. And this was such a young guy. Uh, I mean, it was after the Copa America of 2019. But the 2019 Copa America, for a lot of reasons, was considered to be probably the starting point of something good. I'll tell you what, I didn't even watch it because there was no telecast of the 2019 Copa America. But somehow they managed to come to the semifinals, and they lost the semifinals to Brazil. But Messi was pretty happy with the way the team put up a fight and everything. And they obviously played the third place match. I think it was against Colombia or Chile. I think so, Chile. And Messi was in this extremely angry form, and he was shouting at people, and he apparently made a massive meal of a fight, and he was red carded for the fight. They lost that third place match, I think. But when I read reports of the match, Argentine people were pretty happy with the way Messi showed courage. Messi showed that anger, and it is that anger that they wanted to finally see. The anger when Argentina was losing, that made Argentine fans confident that we have the right leader in place. Everything was modeled on Maradona, and Maradona was this street kid who was playing football with unbelievable talent, but more so, he was a thug, and nobody could, compose. Nobody could stand in front of him. He would drag Argentina through to victory just by his attitude. And Messi was softer in nature, and Messi was calmer in nature, and Messi accepted reality if they were losing. But these were not the things that Argentine fans wanted to see. So, despite that loss in the 2019 World Cup, sorry, Copa America, Argentine fans were happy. And some changes happened, and Lionel Scaloni, this young coach, comes into the fray and he takes over. And he was confident that Messi would be there for the next World Cup, and then he started building the team very nicely. But let me tell you before I forget. So, what happened in the St. Petersburg match? So, this guy tells me, this Argentine fan, and he's come to India quite often, and he used to love Mumbai, and we talk about Mumbai too. So, he tells me the difference between Messi and Maradona is that Messi is a great player. Nobody can question that. He's a fantastic player, he's a great player, and he performs at the highest level in every match. Agreed. But he tells me Maradona can make everybody around him play with that amount of greatness. He can make others play a great game. And that is why Maradona was the greatest. At that time, I understood what it means for an Argentine fan, for a real Argentinian, not just an Indian who loves Argentina, who has witnessed the 1986 World Cup, who has seen Maradona play and what Maradona means to them. But I was not going to completely accept that answer. So anyway, 2019 and 2020 were great years, and I was seeing Argentina build a team. And this 2019 is when they started winning matches. And that streak of winning matches went a long way into 2022 November. What began at the end of 2019, probably, or August or September 2019. They started winning, and they kept winning and winning and winning. They might have drawn matches, but they never lost. So all hopes again started building up, and Messi is still the central focus of this. Because here is a coach who tells that no, Messi is not important. Messi is one of those players who will still be part of the team. He tells Messi is the core, and we have the players to form, and we need players to support him, and we have a great young talent, and he's picking the great sides. So here comes 2021 Copa America. Will these be the final shot, even if they don't play well at the World Cup? So I start watching the 2021 Copa America, and it was fantastic because 2020 was all about COVID, and games were not being played in front of fans, and the domination of Messi, even in club games, was coming down. So I knew that the end was near, and I was hoping that something great would happen for Messi and Argentina. So because of the policies of Argentina during COVID, the World Cup, which was originally scheduled to be played in Argentina, I'm sorry, the Copa America, had to be shifted to Brazil. For a while, we were wondering whether the Copa America will even happen because of these COVID policies and lack of proper management, and the disease was still spreading. But thankfully, Brazil somehow came along, said its stadiums are ready, and it would be able to conduct the Copa America with no fans at all, or very minimal fans. So the Copa America began, and Argentina started playing brilliantly. Match after match, all the three games that they played, Messi scores, Messi assists, Messi dominates. The passing is brilliant. He already has two goals and three assists in the first three games, I think. And they win all the three convincingly. They're into the second round. They win the second round. They win the quarterfinals again convincingly. And Messi is scoring at will, and I'm just enjoying this bit. It's okay. I know they have to go all the way, but at least they're winning. I've seen this before. I've seen this movie before, because they always dominated. And this is a team that was in the final of one World Cup in 2014 and already two Copa Americas in 2015 and 16. So I was not surprised by their quality, but I was hoping that this time they would go all the way. And then I remember this semi final against Colombia, and they're already leading 1-love, and wow, they're going to go into the final. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, there is an equalizer, and I was like, oh, not again. And the penalties come along, and it was a brilliant, uh, tension filled but brilliant penalty shootout. Messi scores, and this guy, Emi Martinez, this is the first time I'm witnessing the madness of Emi Martinez, the goalkeeper. And it was brilliant to see the way he was talking and playing with the minds of these strikers. And Yeri Mina, this tall guy, defender, comes along, and I didn't know the history back then. And Emi Martinez, the goalkeeper, just goes and talks to him and says something, and they have a laugh. And just before the penalty shoot, and Yeri Mina misses, and the whole Argentine team is enjoying it because they've done the saves required. And now, with one more goal scored, one more save, Argentina goes to the final. It was brilliant. And then later on, I read that this guy, defender, who was once also a part of Barcelona when Messi was there, I think he moved to Everton later on, is Yeri Mina, apparently did a lot of talking about Argentina. And in the previous game, when they beat Uruguay, he apparently was very, very rude, and he was playing these mind games, and he was, saying bad things about Suarez. And Messi, the kind of guy that he is, felt it was necessary to say something back to this guy, because he had offended his very good friend Suarez. So that tells you the kind of human being that Messi is. And Messi, I've never seen Messi talk back like that and say so many things to a player. And he was so hurt that this Yeri Mina was extremely mean and unnecessarily rude to uh, Suarez in the previous game. And obviously, Suarez's team, Uruguay, had lost it. So he wanted to defeat Colombia like a return gift and like a dedication to Suarez. So that's what he did. And I was so happy. Now I've witnessed all these games and we are in the final again. But the final was on a Sunday, July 11th. And I booked a place in a small resort. It was the monsoons, right? And monsoons in Mumbai are fantastic to travel. And me, my wife, and one of our relatives, couple of our relatives, had gone to this nice little place in Mumbai, near close to Mumbai. Didn't know that there was no TV in the rooms, so I was going to miss the final. And I was hoping that my mobile data would work brilliantly. I could catch a live stream, but that too wasn't pretty great, so I couldn't see the games live. So anyway, I decided maybe it's for the best. I've seen them play the 2014 final, they lost. I've seen them lose the 2015 and 16 final when I watched the whole games. Maybe if I don't watch the final, maybe, just maybe they'll win. So I get up in the morning at 5 a.m. or something and I start watching the the ticker and I'm tracking every moment. My sister and my father and my mother, as usual, they've been watching the games too, and we've been talking every day after the games get over, and the hopes are building. And my sister, who really doesn't have time, she's a surgeon, and she doesn't have time to watch football, let alone any TV at all, let alone football. So, but she's watching these games because she also wants Argentina to just win one tournament with Messi playing. So they are watching the final and they're giving me regular updates here. And then the 21st minute or 25th minute, Di Maria scores. Why am I so happy? I mean, it's a goal, right? And it's still a pretty long game and it's against Brazil at the Maracana Stadium where they lost the 2000.